What up, everybody? JP Finlay, Redskins Talk Podcast. The 2020 NFL schedule is out, and the Redskins will play 16 games, 8 of them at home, 8 of them on the road, 6 of them in division. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the basics. Certainly, we hope they play 16 games, 8 at home, 8 on the road, and we hope we're going to be there for all of them like we normally would. For the purpose of this exercise, we're going to operate that everything's going to be fine, and we're going to play 16 games, and it's going to be a hell of a time. Before we get into it, I want to thank the good folks, Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Hope you do the exact same thing. Specifically, go check out Oarsman Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Alexandria. I drove right by their dealership on Thursday because I had to take my wife's car in to Oarsman Chevy Buick GMC. Everybody's doing well. They're open for business. They'll sell you any car you want. There's crazy deals on Jeeps, financing, all that stuff, so go check them out. Mitch Tischler and Pete Hailey are here. Gentlemen, the schedule is out. And before we dive into everything, I'm just excited that we can plan football. I don't know if it'll happen. Let's put all that aside for right now. I'm going to read through the schedule. Let's just start there. The Redskins, or both of you say hello. How about that?
What's up, boys? It was a fun day today texting about different games that we were hearing news on and figuring out what was happening when. It's good to have something to plan, good to have something to work around.
Yeah, I think a good rule is we don't need to make any caveats the rest of the way. We don't have to say if it happens or hopefully it does. Let's just operate like it's a normal pod. And people say, oh, the schedule release is dumb. We know the opponents months ahead of time. I still get excited. It's fun to see the road trips in the order and then plan things in December. Oh, this is going to be the stretch run. So screw the schedule release haters. It's a good time to be alive. I
totally agree. What's the point of being that guy on Twitter? Like, oh, it's so dumb. We already know. So just – not everybody needs your opinion on everything. Just everybody else is having fun. Don't be that dude. All right, let's run through it. Redskins 2020 schedule. Week 1 versus Philadelphia at home, 1 o'clock. Your boy reported that, scooped that one. It was pretty good nugget that went a little more crazy than I was expecting. I think people were just so pent up, ready for schedule news. Week 2, we go to Arizona, which should be a lovely trip. That the date on that would be, what is
September
that? September 20th, I believe.
Yep, September 20th.
Pretty damn great. All right, let's go to week 3 at Cleveland, September 27th. All right, Cleveland was cool last time. Let's go again.
We love Cleveland, yeah.
Pete had a good time in Cleveland.
We all did.
Pete ran through the fountain.
Yeah, I'll do that again.
All right. Week 4, Ravens at home. Week 5, Sean McVay comes to town. The Rams at home.
Kevin O'Connell, too.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell, too. Good call. Week 6, New York Giants in New York. For those listening that might be interested or willing to placate a couple of bloggers and podcasters, that could be perfect weather to play golf in the New York area. So
the tri-state area.
Keep that in mind. Week 7, Dallas Cowboys at home, October 25th. Note, not a single primetime game yet. Week 8 is the bye. Week 9, New York Giants at home. So the Skins play the Giants twice in 4 weeks. So the Haskins-Daniel Jones storylines will be exhausted. Week 10 at Detroit. Pete is probably the only person excited for this trip. That will be November 15th. Yep, Detroit, here we come.
Yep, Detroit. That's all there is to say.
We need to go see a Pistons game or something random.
No, sure don't.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly not.
November 22nd, Cincinnati Bengals. All right, Cincinnati. Then it gets a little juicy here. November 26th, Thanksgiving Day in Dallas. Cowboys, Redskins on Thanksgiving. I also nailed that in my mock schedule. That was the only game I felt confident picking. I had a very, very distinct feeling that would go that way. That is a huge ratings driver, and everybody will be tuned in.
That's also a primetime game. For everyone complaining there are no primetime games, playing on Thanksgiving, the 4:30 slot is a primetime game. It is.
It's a national game. It's a national game, Mitch, but it's not a primetime game. Primetime is an actual set time.
National, primetime, or
Primetime is
interchangeable.
No, they're
No.
not.
You're telling me that the
Like,
ratings.
but hold on. Would you guys count a
Go ahead, Pete.
Thursday game as prime time? Would you guys count Thursday as prime time?
Yes, because it's played in prime time.
If you're taking it as literal word, but a 4:00 game on Thursday of Thanksgiving rates out of this world. Thus, it's prime time.
It's a national game. It's a Thanksgiving game. It's a big deal, but it's not prime time. Mitch, there's going to be Saturday games. The Saturday 5:00 game is not going to be prime time. It's still going to be nationally televised because it'll be the only game.
The ratings for the Thursday game are out of this world, thus making it prime time.
Prime time is an actual time. It's an actual thing. Like it
was back when people worked 9 to 5 and didn't watch TV and came home and watched TV during prime time. Now prime time just means any time that ratings are blown out of the water.
I feel like we're just going to keep doing this. And
I agree. We have a lot to get to.
Some sort of brevity. Yeah. It's not a primetime game. There's no primetime games. But the Redskins play the Cowboys at 4:30 on Thanksgiving. It will be nationally televised. This is the beginning of a brutal 3-game stretch. So Cowboys, then they get a little time off. You get that kind of mini bye because you get the weekend. And it was funny. Ron Rivera on the Redskins stream said that, hey, I'm putting it out to the players now. If you want the whole weekend off, you better win that game. I thought that was pretty awesome. So after Thanksgiving in Dallas, they go to Pittsburgh December 6th, and then to San Fran December 13th. That is 3 road trips in a row. I think 3 really good teams in a row. That is hard as hell. After that, home to the Seahawks, another team that's really good.
Yeah, that's hard.
My favorite player in football, and Russ Wilson. Then finally, you get the Ron Rivera revenge game, which is weird that it's coming week 16 against the Panthers at home. Rivera got asked about that, and he's like, what, we played Carolina and acted – it was pretty funny how he tried to play it. And the final game of the year, you start and you finish with the Philadelphia Eagles, January 3rd in Philadelphia. Let's make that trip as short as possible. That's all I can think about. I would like to leave my house at 8 a.m. and get back to my house by 8 p.m. Is that possible?
The only caveat
I love that idea.
Only caveat is sports gambling in the great state of Pennsylvania is legal. Last year, went up midday Saturday and got to spend a little time watching college football, knock on wood, and that wasn't the worst way to spend some time outside of Philly.
I don't think I went with you. I think I came late. I think I took like a late train.
Yeah, we had a where did we?
Wasn't it a Monday night?
It was week 1 last year. Mitch and Womp Womp Dan went up and had a grand old time. JP got there as late as possible, and then me and JP raced home Sunday night along with Mitch, like side by side on the highway.
Yeah,
you're all of that is correct because we had dinner with Biaggi. You're right. I think we went to that steakhouse in an old bank.
Yeah, and we heard that awesome Josh Norman story that will forever make me laugh. You remember that Josh Norman story?
Yeah,
and I think you should say it on the pod.
Yeah, I think we should say it.
I think we could say it, right?
Go, Pete.
I don't know.
I don't know if I want to be the one to break it.
Well, we're not gonna then. All right. Moving on. So, Mitch, we'll start with you. What is your reaction to the 2020 schedule and to the schedule release haters? We did already know the games and the opponents and where they were going to be. We just didn't know the order. So, what's your reaction, I guess, to the order? How it all lays out?
To me, I think if you look at it, they stacked the easiest part of the schedule in the kind of first half of the season, give or take. So there's a place where you can run where you can run off a couple. I guess I'm going up until that road trip where you go Cowboys, Steelers, Niners, Seahawks. Because if you look at it, you know the division games. You hope that they can be better than they were last year at it. I think the Browns is a winnable game. You make the Rams come to the East Coast early in the season. You know, it's always tough for those teams. But then that back-to-back Lions, Bengals, Giants, Lions, Bengals is a spot where you can chop some wood. Maybe you can pick up, 2 out of those 3 before that terrible at Cowboys, at Steelers, at 49ers, Seahawks rush comes. And then at the end of the season, you got Panthers and at the Eagles to end it. You can end on a little bit of a upswing, hopefully, and carry some momentum over.
To me, well, we've touched on the lack of prime time. Mitch wants to call Thanksgiving prime time, whatever. It's not necessarily surprising, but it still is a little bit because the Redskins have been bad for quite some time. But even then, they get like that random October Monday night game that they host. So having no Monday nighters, no Sunday nighters definitely stands out. But the thing I'm kind of looking at is we're going to get a feel of where Dwayne Haskins is as a quarterback himself, but also how he shapes up with a lot of young passers. You have Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones twice, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. Like, you're going to be able to see, it's not necessarily against the old guard, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, those guys, but you see kind of the next wave of passers. They're kind of littered throughout the schedule, and we'll get to evaluate where Dwayne stands amongst those guys. I'm sure it's going to be closer to the bottom because he's just getting started, but it'll be a lot of tests that I bet he gets really amped up for.
I like that point a lot, Pete. I think that's pretty interesting. And
Joe Burrow, too, by the way, of course.
I think he's better than – I am not a Goff guy. To Mitch's point earlier, I think where they can really win some games is the 3-game stretch, Giants, Lions, Bengals, and you're coming out of a bye. Those 3 teams went a combined 9-38-1 last year. And I know the Skins stunk too, but they beat the Lions, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They beat Jeff Driscoll, though.
I also think the Redskins are going to be able to turn it around a little quicker defensively, and the schedule's hard as hell. We're going to go through and give you our records, but I think that is a chance to chop wood. I don't know. A lot of people in my mentions and like dudes I know, like Burgundy Blog and Hogs Haven are saying 0-7 at the bye. You know that I think those kinds of things are hard to do in the NFL. Typically, teams win. There's a stinker in there. Think about how hard it is to bet on the NFL. It's hard for a team to lose 7 straight weeks. I think the Cardinals are going to be pretty good. I think 0-2 is a very legit start. The Cleveland game is a big opportunity just because the Browns always seem to be kind of a mess. We'll get to all that. I think the week 8 bye is really important. The bye is in the direct middle of the season. And listening to Ron on the Redskins stream, he said he expects his team to improve down the stretch is what he said. But I'm going to say in the second half of the season. Because at that point, what I expect is that Rivera, Jack Del Rio, Scott Turner, those guys will really have figured out who their guys are. Because whatever happens, it's probably going to be a truncated training camp. I don't know what's going to happen with the preseason. There's a legitimate chance that Ron and the coaching staff don't get to know their players on the field in live action as much as they should. And the first half of the year might be an opportunity to kind of learn these guys. And I think this team is really going to build momentum in the second half of their schedule. And that doesn't necessarily mean wins to me, but it means playing good, better football, sound fundamentals. And that's why I think the week 8 bye is so important, because it gives them a chance. They'll be home the week before. So it's a home game into the bye week. And Ron is a player's coach. I think he'll give them time off. But I think coming out of that bye, going into what should be – and the Giants could be better too. Who knows what Joe Judge is going to bring to that program and lots of other things. But coming out of the bye into a home game against a team you just saw, I think they could really – and what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now is 2021 is where the Skins can make hopefully a jump, right? Let's say they go 5-11, whatever. But if they can win 3 in the back half, and then you have a ton of cap space for 2021, you got an extra 3rd-round pick. You either have your quarterback and you know it's your guy, or you know you're targeting a quarterback. I just think things could be really starting to come together. And I expect Ron to be right that this team will play better in the second half of the year. And I think that Giants, Lions, Bengals is a chance. Like Dallas, Pittsburgh, San Fran on the road is 0-3 to me. Let's not pretend there. But I won't rule out 3-0 Giants, Lions, Bengals. So I don't – we're going to do our wins and losses, obviously. I don't want to say it now. But that's my immediate reaction. And everything else seems relatively reasonable. I mean, there's only the 3-game road trip is hard as hell. And you granted you get that quasi-bye by playing on a Thursday. But everything else outside of that seems fairly normal. I don't think the conspiracy theorists are going to suggest that the NFL's out to get Washington, anything like that. I think the lack of primetime games makes complete sense because this team was 3-13. And as good of a hire Ron Rivera is, and as much buzz as there is in Washington, he's not the buzz type of guy that demands being on Monday Night Football. Like if they had hired Lincoln Riley or something, and
John Gruden,
right? John Gruden, right? Like
there's buzz for Ron here, but he's not sexy.
Right.
And also they're new.
Better. You don't. The Redskins have tried sexy a lot of times, and they do not pull it off. So just try good. Go ahead, Pete.
And also their big new draft pick, Chase Young. He's going to be phenomenal. We can't wait. But a defensive end isn't going to be a guy who lands you primetime national games. It's going to be young quarterback. So they missed out there too. But that's fine.
He's not a receiver. He's not a running back. Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do we want to get into our wins and losses here?
Let's do it. The best part ever.
Before we do it, let's thank the good folks, Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Want you to do the same thing. They got new cars, used cars, lease cars. They are open, most importantly. All their locations are open. I had to take my wife's car in. She had a light go off on the dashboard. Those people are taking their safety very, very seriously. Everybody had a mask. They were spraying disinfectant everywhere. There was all sorts of hand sanitizer. I was impressed by the way the operation was running, considering everything going on. And I mean that sincerely. I wouldn't have gone if I didn't think so, but being there, it backed it up. All right, wins and losses. Here's what I think we do here. I'm just going to – are you able to keep track of this, Pete?
I'm taking it on it. Yeah, I'm doing it on a piece of paper, and I'll post it on our Instagram at Redskins Talk Pod in classic, like our way of operating. We have so many technologies available, and I'm going to write it on a tiny little piece of paper and take a picture of the paper.
Do you have a purple pen?
No purple pen, just a regular skinny. I probably stole this from a hotel last year, but that's okay. No purple pen. That's your bit.
All right. Week 1 versus Philadelphia at home. What order do we want to go? Me?
Let's just do JP, Mitch, Pete for the whole time.
Okay. Week 1 versus Philadelphia at home. Ooh. I almost talked myself into something there, but I'm going to say a loss. I know they've lost 6 straight. I know that streaks get snapped all the time. I know there will be a ton of momentum for Ron, but I think the Eagles are pretty good, and I think they can score some points. So I'm going to say a loss there.
I like the spot of getting the
loss.
I like the spot of getting the Eagles early in the season, but I think this lack of offseason, or what may be a lack of offseason, is going to be tough for Ron to get that off and Scott Turner to get that offense completely installed. You have a veteran quarterback, at least in Philly, and a team that and a bunch of guys that have been there for a while. Not a lot of changes there. I think the Eagles come in and win week 1.
It's crazy that Carson Wentz is a veteran quarterback, but
in this day and age, he is.
Right.
This is tough to do because I think we're all going through this win-loss for the first time right now. So I don't want to bank a win here and then be like, oh crap, I have the Redskins going 10-6 by the end of it. I too like the idea of getting the Eagles at home. I think FedEx, I don't know if we can say this, it will be rocking. I have no idea if it actually will be, but there's going to be so much momentum for Ron, so much excitement, but I still think the Eagles are better and will eke out a close win so the Redskins start out 0-1 for all 3 of us.
All right. I also think that game will be close. I think it could be similar to last year where the Skins have a lead and then Carson Wentz is very good in the second half. We should have explained this. We all made kind of a pact with one another to not go through line by line until we were on the pod. So we're doing this live. This is our first time kind of adding everything up, which I think makes it a little more fun. Hopefully our listeners do too.
It's also unfortunate because Carson Wentz will probably be healthy for week 1. Whereas if they got him in week 4, he'd probably be out for a few weeks at that point.
Very good point, Mitchell. And accurate.
Just a shot at
week
at
2
Carson.
at Arizona. Michael Phillips, fire up the minivan. Let's go to the Grand Canyon. Arizona's a great trip. I hope to God to go. Loss. I think Kyler I think Kyler is trouble for this team because of his ability to just move around. The Skins' strength is going to be the D-line and getting after quarterbacks, but I think Kyler's tough for them. I think Kyler in his second year of Cliff Kingsbury's system will be even better. I'm going loss in the desert.
I think that Cardinals offense is going to be pretty explosive. I want to stop at that little one-horse town and bet the ponies on the way back from the Grand Canyon again. I'm in for that. Prescott. There you go. I think that's it's a good road trip early in the season. I think it's a tough one for the Redskins to pull out. I think that offense could be a little bit of a juggernaut this year. I don't know if the Redskins are going to be able to score enough points this early in the season to keep up with them. I think that's also a loss too.
One thing I saw while watching the All or Nothing series from Amazon about Ron's 2018 Panthers is every time the Panthers lost, the next game the announcers would say, one thing about this Panthers team under Ron Rivera is they handle themselves well after losses. I'm going to do some research to kind of back that up, but right now that's going to be good enough for me. I think the Redskins recover from week one, get their stuff together, go out on the road and surprise Kyler and the Cardinals. I think that team's going to be really good, but I think this is still going to be earlier in their growth of becoming really good. So I think the Redskins surprise them in week 2 and get their first win of the year.
All right, Pete.
There you go, Peter.
Week 3, I think the Skins have a better chance week 1 than they do the Cardinals week 2. Week 3 at Cleveland Browns, W. I think that's the Skins' first win. I didn't buy Cleveland last year. I don't really buy them this year. They got a lot of mercurial personalities over there. A lot to figure out for a rookie head coach. Skins get the win on Lake Erie.
I agree with JP. I think that we're going to see a lot of growing pains the first couple of weeks, especially on the offensive side, just putting in the new system. And I think that week 3 is the first week we see it really come together and look good kind of across the board offensively. I think the defense is going to be obviously solid all year. I think that, we're all hoping that front 4 is better. I agree with JP. I think they get a win in Cleveland because Pete is going to run through a fountain and bring that good luck.
I cannot wait to go to Cleveland and visit their casino, not once but twice, because we might have done that in our last trip there.
Did we ever figure out what it's called? Is it Jack's or Sam's?
It's the Jack's. Jack. I think it's just called the Jack.
Well, and will the Indians still be playing, assuming anybody's playing?
That's September. Yeah, that'll
September
be
27th.
Like the final. That might be like their big series against the White Sox or something.
That was so much fun last year, that preseason game. Going to the Indians game. Remember those people just gave us tickets?
They were so kind, and we just drank beer with them. We almost caught 2 home run balls. That was the best.
You should have caught that one. You
botched it.
You're like, oh, no, it's no big deal. And then I'm like, dude, it's right there.
Yeah. I lose sleep over missing that home run ball. Regardless, the problem with playing mercurial teams, that's a hard word for me, is that sometimes that mercurialness hits and they just put up a 30 spot on you. I like the Redskins defense this year. I think their coaching staff does as well. But I think Cleveland clicks at home in week 3, and they kind of do some dirty work on the Redskins, beat them by a couple touchdowns. It's the first bad loss in the Ron Rivera era.
All right.
Baltimore 1-2 through 3 weeks.
I got a quick bet for you. Will Greg Abernathy lose equipment in Cleveland this year?
Did he lose equipment last year?
Yes, a lot.
So that's like, Mitch, I love you. That's like an inside photog thing that Pete and I don't really care about, and I doubt the listeners care about. But I'm good to know.
Yep. I brought it up.
Baltimore, week 4. We can go quick here. That's a loss, right?
Loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got him 1-3 at the quarter mark. I think we all have them 1-3, just a different win for Pete.
Yes.
Okay. Week 5, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell come to town. The Los Angeles Rams, who I don't think are that good. I don't know. I don't think Goff's very good. I think I don't know. I just don't know about them. I think this is a winnable game, especially because I think the Baltimore thing could be pretty ugly, and Ron will have them coming back. I'm going to say a win here. What the hell?
I'm doing a lot of agreeing with JP. I kind of think the Rams are going to kind of stink it up this year. I think they're below 500. I think this is a big step back, even though obviously Sean McVay is thought of as being a great coach, and we think he is a great coach. I just think that they step back. I don't think they're that good, and I think the Redskins win this game.
Yeah, W, for all the reasons you guys laid out. I think all three of us agree.
That makes me nervous. I kind of want to switch my
Very
thing.
nervous.
At New York Giants, I think the Giants aren't going to be as bad as a lot of people think. I'm going loss in the Big Apple on what hopefully will be a huge golf weekend for the Redskins Talk podcast, where I'm considering taking either probably Friday, assuming we have coach interviews and I can't get Mondays off. But we're gonna try to make some things work.
Make it a little.
We're talking golf in New Jersey, golf in Westchester, golf on Long Island.
We're willing to drive. We will drive to golf courses.
All right.
Could be a good weekend.
Loss against the Giants.
Here's my first disagreement with JP. I think the Giants are going to be as bad as people think that they are. I think that they are the worst team in the NFC East this year, and I think the Redskins are going to go up to what was formerly known as the Meadowlands and win.
Yeah, I think a tricky thing with Ron's Redskins versus Jay's Redskins is we're going to have to get used to some of these trends we're so used to disappearing. And like under Jay, going to the Meadowlands / MetLife Stadium was a death sentence. I think New York is a pretty simple trip. I think Chase Young's going to be fired up to play against Andrew Thomas, and I think the Redskins beat the Giants for win number 2.
Buckle up, gentlemen.
Who had Pete being the first person to mention offensive line?
Yeah, I know. Collect your money now.
Dallas at home, L. I think the Cowboys are going to be good. I think Jason Garrett is holding them back. I think they have real talent. I think Dak's going to play on a franchise deal. I think Dallas is going to be good. L.
Yeah. Adding another dynamic receiver to an already dynamic offense is going to make it quite tough for the what may be the weakest position on the Redskins team, corner. Close to.
And certainly depth-wise.
Yeah. So I think when you start looking at these teams that have multiple downfield threats, I think it's going to be tough for them to keep up with. I think that's going to be an L to the Cowboys.
So I'm really like at some point we're gonna have to find the one game the Redskins win that they shouldn't. The one like okay, Ron Rivera's really got this team going.
I got that one, but it doesn't come till later.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's going to come later because I feel like they're gonna really sink in the second half on that stretch we've mentioned a bunch. So, F it. This is going to be the third game in a 3-game winning streak for the Redskins. Ron is going to be pissed that Amari Cooper spurned him in free agency. They're going to come up with a really good plan. The pass rush is going to act up. They're going to somehow slow down the Cowboys offense and get to 3 straight wins. And that's going to be 4-3. There's going to be some juice in DC in the late October time.
Going into the bye week.
Right. We're going into the bye week. I am at 2-5. Mitch, where are you at?
I think I'm at 3-4.
Yes, and I'm at 4-3. Our podcast numbers are through the roof. We're going to the bye week with an over 500 team. People are losing their minds.
I would love it. Let's be clear that's I want them to be 7-0. You know, so Phil Perry and Tom Curran are friends of mine, right? Those guys they cover the Patriots. You know how much effing fun it must be to cover winning football? Even Zangaro and our boys in Philly. The Eagles have been good. They won a Super Bowl. Do you know how great that would be for our career and just how much fun it would be? Like my little girl draws me pictures of the Redskins all the time, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, imagine if they won Super Bowls. It'd be madness. Anyway.
Let's start with making the playoffs. Winning record, making the playoffs, then we can talk Super Bowls.
I think a winning record at the bye, Pete's call would be pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
All right. I heard Pete's 3-game win streak, and I'm here to match it. It starts hold on real quick. Week 8 is the bye. We all try to do something cool on the bye. It's going to be Halloween weekend. You guys know me. Hopefully the weather's nice and I can take my family to the beach. Maybe we'll go down south, like get down to South Carolina or something because it'll be a little warmer. That's my tentative plan. Maybe swing the sticks a little bit. Pete is going to do something with his girlfriend. So Mitch is the only one who's probably going to do something cool. But
Hold on.
Pete, you can go.
Yeah, Kim has this thing where she wants to go to Mexico City. We were going to try and go for graduation. It never happened because of all the crap that's happening. So she's 8 feet away on the couch. Kim, we're going to Mexico City in the bye week. She just asked if I'm included. Yes, it's our trip over the bye week. Yes. Yes, it's for me and you. So that's my plan. We're going to Mexico City.
I love it. I hope you get to go, dude. Sincerely.
I'll tell you what, I love Mexico City. It is a ton of fun. There's not a 0% chance that I join you guys, Pete.
There's a 0% chance you're invited.
Mitch.
Whether I'm invited or not doesn't bother me.
We talked at the end of the last podcast. If you find a special lady, maybe a couple's trip. Who knows?
Something tells me Mitch wants to go to Mexico City single. You don't bring Cole to Newcastle. Anyway,
what's your plan, Mitch? What's your bye week plan?
I think Mitch should go to Asia. He's never been.
Yeah, that's too far for the bye week because I can't. It's not really 2 weeks. To me, I think you need 2 weeks there. I've been wanting to do like Spain, Portugal, Morocco type trip. So maybe something along those lines. Something in Western Europe, probably.
I hope you get to make that trip as well, sir.
So do I.
I'm hoping for like. Anyway, all right, we're coming out the bye, refreshed, ready to go, ready to kick down some MFing doors. The New York Giants at home win.
I think we can probably let's power through these 3 games.
Pete, you go and win against the Giants at home?
That puts me in a 4-game winning streak. I'm not sure I'm prepared for the Redskins to have a 4-game winning streak.
You got to look at each game in a vacuum, dude. Or not, I don't know.
Right, stop looking at the record.
I just want Pete to end up at like 10-6.
I know. We're getting in dangerous territory.
How many White Claws have you had, son?
A lot of Trulies. I switched from White Claw Truly. You know what? Like I said earlier, we need to get used to this. Isn't Jay Gruden or Bruce Allen anymore. The Redskins can handle some success. Ron will keep them focused. 4-game winning streak. They beat the Giants out of the bye.
There you go, Pete.
My man.
Just for the paper here.
What's that?
Did you say win for this?
Oh,
game
I'm a win. Yeah, I think that.
Okay.
I think that's not only a win. I think it's a little bit of a statement game for Dwayne and for the offense. I think that's.
I agree.
I think that's a multi-touchdown, double-digit win.
You know who I think starts to emerge in the second half of the schedule?
Antonio Gibson.
Mitch, you read my mind. He's got to figure out where he belongs. The coaching staff has to figure out where he belongs. And I think it kind of starts to come together. Week 10 at Detroit, the game Pete's excited for, win. I think the Redskins win. I think there could be a mutiny on Matt Patricia. I was a little surprised he got to come back this season. Week 10, Redskins win. I am now on a 2-game win streak.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I think that Redskins game, November 15th against the Lions, is Matt Patricia's final game coaching the Lions. I think that, again, this is another big win for the Redskins. I think it's a big Chase Young day. I think it's a big Dwayne Haskins day. I think this is a fire up the band. Let's get excited about what the future looks like after the back-to-back Giants-Lions games.
So this is the all-Ohio State matchup. It's Haskins, McLaurin, Young, and Jeff Okudah. That'll be a fun storyline to cover. I think this is a –
Michigan, where they claim to have a football team.
Correct. Yeah, I've heard that. I think this is the letdown. I think Detroit's kind of a boring place to play. I have them on a 4-game winning streak for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think, Ron Rivera or not, there's going to be letdowns on every team. I think this is the letdown for the Redskins, and the tailspin is about to begin for my team. They lose in Detroit.
So that snaps your how many game win streak?
4-game winning streak. The air is out of the balloon a little bit.
Okay, that's not. I thought you had a 5-game streak. Okay,
no, don't worry.
Cincy at home, W. Anybody disagreeing?
I think the momentum is starting to roll here. I think things are starting to look good.
The air out of the balloon.
So I think Joe Burrow is pissed. He lost to Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State, and he's remembering this. I don't think a lot of people are circling Dwayne Haskins as a quarterback to kind of outdo and target, but I think Joe Burrow is going to care a lot. and I think he's going to be really good. And I think he comes into FedEx and lights up the Redskins and wins a shootout, makes a statement on Dwayne.
I think by week 11 in the NFL, after those two haven't played with one, I don't entirely possible, and that'll certainly be a narrative that week. That Cincy team has a lot of holes, man. I know the Skins have a lot of holes, but that Cincy team has a lot of holes.
I think John Ross is going to go for like $150 and 2 touchdowns.
Mitch, I still never got my damn wings from you. And did you see that they declined his 5th-year option?
No, shocker.
There's a good chance he won't even be on the roster. So eat it, big man. But I don't think there's any discussion. At Dallas, at Pittsburgh, at San Fran, I don't see a win on that road trip at all. Do you guys?
I don't know. When you lay it out as all three, it feels like a no. The Redskins usually play pretty well in Dallas.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They've lost their last 4. They get destroyed all the time.
Blitzkrieged.
I guess I'm thinking I have some good Thanksgiving Day memory games from back in the day.
That was 2012. That was
8 years ago.
Well, and Colt went in and won on Monday night.
Yeah, that was probably 6 years ago.
I know. I'm saying I'm being jaded by that.
No, Mitch. No means no.
But we like Dallas. But
I'm on board with 3. I'm on board all 3 losses.
All right, so Peter down for 3. I have them definitely losing in Thanksgiving. Definitely losing to the Niners. Are we sure Pittsburgh's that good anymore? Like old Big Ben, no real offense. Like why are we giving Pittsburgh's?
If you just heard me say it, pretend you didn't. Do you know what their record was last year with Big Ben out week 2?
No.
They went 8-8 with Duck.
Dude, the Redskins went, 7-9 with Josh Johnson and Mark Sanchez and Alex Smith and
6 of those wins came with Alex at the helm.
Right.
Good point.
They were 6-3.
You know what? I'm not putting that much stock in Pittsburgh.
Take the Steelers. I love it.
Yeah.
He's going to be the bullish one. He's going to get himself to double-digit wins.
I'm not that bullish. Beat the Steelers and lose to San Fran. San Fran's going to be so fun. I hope that their record is what I think it's going to be for San Fran because that Trent versus Redskins game will carry meaning. Like I was thinking about it, the reunion games they've had, the Kirk game was boring because it was 2 years removed. It was in the Redskins were awful. But like when Deshaun went back to Philly, it was early in the year, so much juice. I'm hoping when they face Trent, there'll still be some juice left. 2 teams. San Francisco will have playoff aspirations, I'm sure. I hope the Redskins are at least still involved so that narrative doesn't lose a lot of its flair.
But without upsetting Mitch, like an lineman, and Kyle would do this, like they run a throw to like Trent catches a touchdown pass or something. Like I could legitimately see them having a package for Trent that week. Couldn't you guys?
I tweeted about it. I tweeted that a week ago saying when this happens, I want to be able to quote tweet it and say that I was right. But I think you're right. O-linemen never drive the narrative, but I think this time around with how badly it ended, Redskins fans, even if they're 0-13 or 0-12, whatever it is, Redskins fans want them to destroy Trent, and it's cool because Trent will be facing the Redskins' strength. There could be a lot of good matchups in that afternoon's game.
Well, they have the defensive rookie of the year is going to be going against Trent also, so you got that going.
Yeah, I'm right. That should be fun. He's the number 2 overall pick, and you say that like it's funny. Like the expectation should be that he's the defensive rookie of the year.
It's not a failure if he's not.
Bunch of mutts. Seattle at home. Seattle at home is a loss. Anybody?
They can't. I don't think they can beat
Agreed.
that team.
Agreed.
Carolina at home. I don't see any chance Ron Rivera loses this game. I just don't. And he was funny about it when he got asked about it on the Redskins stream. He's like, what, we play Carolina? And he kind of said he thought it'd be early in the year because it would be like a big deal where teams are trying to make it a thing. But by week 16 in the NFL, I mean, that's 5 years. Each week is dog years in the NFL. So it'll still be a big deal. But, to the players in Carolina by week 16, I got the Skins winning that one.
Yeah, I think when you look at the overall, there's some pockets where they can chop some wood and have some good feelings as you go into next season. And I think ending with the Panthers and Eagles, I'm just going to do both games. I think they're both W's, and I think the Redskins end on a nice little uptick and have a little momentum going into the offseason and a lot of good stuff to look forward to in 2021.
Yeah, JP, I think you're right. Like, I think this is going to be a week where Ron Rivera does not sleep. The Panthers players aren't going to care about facing Ron Rivera. Matt Rule isn't going to care that much, but it totally matters to him. I think he's going to will this team, make it very clear what his objective is, and I think he's going to make sure he beats the Panthers. He's classy. He's going to take the high road. He's going to be boring in the press conferences beforehand, but inside he's going to be boiling, and he's going to want to destroy the Panthers, and they're going to do just that.
And I think by week 16, Ron will have identified his guys on the Skins, and guys will be buying into it, and that team will come out ready to go.
Yeah.
Mitch said Philly is a win. So this is stupid, but the absolute highest I can go is 6-10 for this team. I just don't see more wins than that. So could I see them beat the Eagles in one of these two matchups? Absolutely. But because I'm already at 6 wins on the year, I'm saying they lose this one. Maybe they drop. I actually kind of think Pete might be onto something with that Detroit game as a loss, and then maybe they beat Philly, and that's their momentum to end the season. But I'm capped out at 6-10, period. So I'm going loss against the Eagles.
I'm with you.
Where am I at, Pete, in terms of – does that get me to 7-9?
I'm totaling it up right now. So JP 6-10. I have a loss there in Philly, which gets me to 7-9, and shocker, which is so great. 1, 2. Mitch is the most bullish. He has them at 8-8.
For whatever reason, you guys got me feeling nostalgic tonight. In 2011, they went to Philly and played on New Year's Day before they drafted RG3 and ended up pulling out a win, and and it was momentum moving forward. And I think that same sort of thing happens today, or happens this year.
All right. You got him 8-8, big man.
I got him 8-8.
And what's crazy, that's only 2 more wins than me, but
it feels like a lot.
I was texting with Kime earlier, and we were both – I don't want to speak for him. I was saying 5-11, 6-10 is what I thought. And you know what? I think 6-10.
It's doubling the win total.
Before anybody calls me a hater, thank you, Pete. It's doubling the win total. It's
right.
Significant growth from a terrible 2019 season. So I'm sticking at 6-10.
I think the schedule, while it does them some favors in spots. Obviously, that 3-game road streak is tough, but I think they give them a couple little chances where they can play well. They can win a few games in a row and get some momentum and feel and get that era of good feeling back in DC in spurts.
Era of good feeling. In spurts. I agree. I say this sincerely. I think they are going to cover a lot of games. I think they're going to be feisty and competitive, and you won't see the blowouts that became a staple of the last few seasons. They're going to get blown out. I think the Niners, the Ravens, I think there's going to be some blowouts, but I don't think there will be a lot of them, and I don't think they'll be dispiriting. I think they will finish this season with real momentum for the 2021 season. I said it to start the pod. I'm saying it now. I want to get to our next thing, which is a Pete original, which I think will be a lot of fun. But is there anything else that needs to be said here?
I think we're harping on the 3 road games in a row. I think that 5 out of 6 weeks plus the bye week being home games is a pretty big stretch on a positive side. I mean, I think you got to look at, even though the Ravens and Rams
to the Giants.
Yeah, there's some tough, obviously, games in there, but I think
Baltimore and the Rams home, at New York, Dallas at home, bye at New York at home. Yeah, that's a good stretch.
I think you can really, I think you can build on some things there. I think you can get some momentum and look at and have some good games. All right, let's go to your thing, Pete.
Hold on. I want to thank Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. I want you to do the exact same thing. I also, Pete, Mitch going to 8-8. I'm not shocked. I think it's fun. I think it's Why not go to 8-8 on May
Right.
7th or whatever? You're going 7-9, and that surprises me.
So the reason why I think I'm buying into – so last year everybody was saying this defense is going to be top 10, even top 5. I think we were a year early. I think Chase Young makes a big difference, but I really, really think Rivera and Del Rio being in charge of the unit makes it so much better. I choose to believe that a team with Landon Collins and Sweat and Kerrigan and Payne and Ioannidis and Young and all these dudes, Thomas Davis coming in, I just can't imagine this defense with those two coaches watching them are going to be bad again. I think they're going to be much improved, and it's going to make the Redskins overall a more well-rounded team. So am I shocked I'm at 7-9? I probably would have thought 6-10 if I just blindly gave this prediction 5 hours ago, but 7-9 doesn't feel that wrong to me.
I agree with what you're saying as far as a significant jump, but what I think gets confused is how bad they were, especially on third downs. And obviously, I think Chase Young's going to make a huge impact on third downs, but a significant jump. They could get better by 15 spots defensively and still be outside of the top 10. So
yeah,
that's my caution. And I'd love to be proved wrong. All right. So Pete, explain what the heck's going on now.
So just to give a little more schedule excitement, I put 6 things in a hat here, and they're kind of best/worst as we look at the road games. And again, hopefully we're on the road for all these games. Nobody really knows, but we're going to pretend like we are. So it's going to be a fun look for Mitch, who has been to every stadium, ones that are still active, ones that aren't active. JP, who's been to most. So I'll present a topic, and we will let them give their takes. And on some of these, it's going to be interesting because what JP values in a stadium, for example, is very different from what Mitch values. But instead of talking about it more, we'll just get right into it. So Mitch and JP, where will the single best meal occur in the 2020 Redskins schedule on the road?
I think I might go Pecan Lodge in Dallas. Might be my 1 seed of meals.
Oh, you're saying like our meal, not like the press meal.
Oh,
No, like a Saturday, like big meal.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's
I'm torn between 2 choices, but I'm going to go Pecan Lodge 1 in Dallas as the A seed, number 1 seed, and what's our steakhouse in Phoenix as the 2.
Where we went the last time.
Yeah,
I want to say it was called like 3-4. I don't know.
311, so 314, something like that.
It was in Scottsdale. It was good. Honestly, I don't know. Looking at that schedule, Pecan Lodge is a good call.
We had that barbecue place in Cleveland that was really good.
Yeah, I think I feel like we'll have a great meal in San Fran, but it'll depend on where we stay.
We don't stay in San Fran. We stay up in Santa Clara.
Right. We'll eat it like a P.F. Chang's.
But it'll be like
Benihana. We have to think of Benihana. I hope Benihana.
Know where we go to Benihana? Detroit. Detroit is where we go to Benihana. Book that right now.
Agreed.
I don't know. I don't know right now. I will hope it's New York. We do something very cool because we've talked to Chef Jack about like a special dinner.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next one. What's your answer, Pete? You might as well answer these 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I haven't been in nearly
best press meal, and I was going to say Cardinals because I think Dallas puts out a great spread for Thanksgiving, but it's still Thanksgiving in a press box. It's just different. So the Cardinals do it very, very right with their press meals.
It's tough for me to answer because I haven't been to nearly as many as you guys have. But I guess the best meal for me would be Cleveland. I like that barbecue joint. I like how it's right in that kind of alley with downtown. A lot of good popping spots.
Like that?
Yeah.
If we're able to get to Fairfax, if we're able to get to Fairfax in New York, that'd be a strong pull to get some of those Chef Jack Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah, that meal was delicious. But moving on, this is going to be a nerdy one for you two. This is where's the best post-game location / setup? How the most convenient for interviews, the less hectic, the best area to kind of handle the post-game responsibilities we all have. Because Buffalo was garbage last year.
Dallas. It's right outside.
Yeah,
Phoenix. I got my Bruce Allen.
Phoenix is pretty strong. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Jay lit into the team in the locker room.
We could hear him.
And you could hear it in the hallway right outside the locker room. So that was kind of strong. I like Phoenix for that one.
Yeah, that's true. The bad ones are old stadiums. Like the LA Coliseum was unbelievably bad, but the Coliseum was so cool. Buffalo, kind of stinks, but Buffalo's a cool old stadium. Philly like closed off a door that used to make it super easy and is now quite hard because our location's like down around the corner. New York is okay. I don't know.
The worst, I think, that I saw last year, Buffalo was really, really bad, but we got to meet Barbara Corcoran, so that was notable. I think the worst was Green.
Bad, it was just crowded.
The worst, I think, was Green Bay coming up the stairs. It was like those hallways are so confined.
Did we have to go back? Where were we in Green Bay? Were we like down the hallway?
We were right at the top of the stairs. We were definitely in a spot that we weren't supposed to be in.
Yeah.
But we were right at the top of the stairs next to the locker room, which was pretty solid. When you were talking about, I thought you were saying what was going to be our best podcast location. Where were you going to? Where was the best pod going to be?
Oh, that's classified, dude. Because that is Jerry World by a mile.
Yeah.
So I like that question because it kind of gives a behind the scenes of what Mitch cares about versus what JP cares about. All right, third one. All right, just best place, dive bar, club, whatever, the single best place to hang the night before a game. What city, what place is that going to be?
Go ahead, I know my answer.
I like Pittsburgh. It's been a while since we've been there, but like pretty much all that we stay at this. I guess I can't say. We stay at a nice hotel, and kind of across the street from the hotel is like one block over is a like Adams Morgan type like street with just a bunch of dive bars and cheap beer and wings, and it's just very like blue collar and right, just my type of speed, like hanging out and having some fun and not spending a lot of money necessarily.
For me, it'll be Arizona for sure because I know we've been there since, but the last two games I think were with Tandler, and just two of the most memorable. The Grand Canyon trip, obviously, where he absolutely fell asleep in the van on the way back, and then the year before, or whatever the hell year that was, where he was singing American Pie. And
remember the name of that bar?
The Stagecoach.
Stagecoach Inn.
Yeah. And then we went for the Mexican food, and like those enchiladas were incredible, and Tandler was singing again there. It was just that. Both of those trips have maybe been two of my most favorite trips, and they just make me think of RT. And we will absolutely go back to the Stagecoach, 1 billion%.
Absolutely.
That's the bar with all the Christmas lights, right? It's an
outdoor bar with all the Christmas lights. And Tandler got like a group of like 50 kids younger than Pete to sing American Pie with us. It was great.
You're sugarcoating. Tandler had like it was less people that started, but he had like 5 to 10 like really good-looking college girls singing with him, and that's what got the whole bar singing it. It was incredible.
Tandler got the bar singing.
Right, we miss you.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think.
Is there a city? You got to answer the questions too. Is there something you're more excited about?
No, I think for me on the 2020 schedule, I like Dallas because that hotel patio we always chill at. We're there way too late. We have the fire pits. A lot of debauchery happens there. We're just drinking bourbon till the night just shouldn't even be continuing.
It's a 3:30 local start, so we can sleep in a little bit. We'll be able to avoid.
I mean
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
I can't believe you didn't take Detroit,
but also a shout out to, I think it was Atlanta. Detroit. I haven't been in. Actually, I might have the spots in Detroit. I've been to some cool spots. But honorable mention, it's not on the schedule this year, but that bar we went to in Atlanta, remember? It was giant. It was like 5 bars, but it was like $1.50 Red Bull vodka because we just played pool the whole time. Good time.
Once and at like 10:45, like a bus of college kids showed up, and that's when at like 10:52, I was like, all right, time for us to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. This is a fun one. I think JP will have a fun time debating this one because I think we each have different passes here. Best stadium parking. Mitch, you go first.
Best stadium parking.
Because the media entrance at these places is so impossible to find every time. So you're looking for a spot that takes you right to the media entrance, minimal carrying of Mitch's ridiculous equipment.
Yeah, I guess the Giants probably have the best spot of this group. Cards are definitely not. The Browns are definitely not. Lions are not good. Lions aren't bad, but they're not good. Cowboys is terrible. Steelers is terrible. Oh, actually, no, the Steelers. The Steelers is the best one, as I'm looking at.
How come? Why?
They're in the lot right across. Like, there's one lot that is literally next to the media entrance, and then there's another lot that is just across the street. I think it's like a science center or something like that you can park in.
Yeah, I parked there 1 year with Jerry, like a Ravens playoff.
It takes like 2 seconds to walk across the street, and it's good. It's a good look.
For me, because Mitch takes the good parking. The Eagles have a really good setup where you're right by the media entrance, and then if you get special, I don't know if he wants me to say it. One of the Mount Rushmore guys has a very good hook on parking at the Meadowlands. So if I can get that parking, then it's the Meadowlands. But the Eagles parking is very good. They're good in the media in Philly. A lot of these other places are god-awful.
2 more to go here. I appreciate you guys playing along. And my favorite pick for parking is Dallas because we park at the condom store and it's 3 miles away.
I specifically find the condom store. It's so not only is it's not that bad of a walk if you cut through the Walmart parking lot, and it's $100. It's $100 to park in the parking lot of a condom store. And it's a deal.
And it's always good for a picture. You can always tweet that out beforehand and get lots of retweets. All right, 2 more to go. This is a really fun one. Worst airport to fly in and out of. So take into account where the rental car road places, rental car pickup and drop off.
Arizona rental car is the worst in the country.
The worst.
And Arizona is the best trip in the country, and the Arizona rental car is the worst in the country.
Sky Harbor is the worst of the airports we go to.
Yeah, by a mile.
San Fran will be a zoo or wherever we fly into, but the rental car situation in Arizona is an atrocity.
What's so bad about it?
Without exaggerating to levels that are unfair to complain about rental car situations, it is the absolute worst rental car situation in the country. I'm confident in saying
it's a 30-minute ride from the airport to the rental car.
It's unbelievable.
That's not even hyperbole.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Right.
Okay. Sorry to make you angry. All right, so the last one here.
Last trip, we almost missed our flight because you told me to make a right, and I made a left. Remember that? We cut it very close.
Coming back from Miami or from the Super Bowl, we certainly should not have made that trip, that flight.
No, there was one specifically in Arizona, but whatever. That's a different conversation.
I'll bring up Miami, though.
The Miami one was definitely a different conversation.
The last one,
we just overslept, right?
I think we made a bad plan, and then we also were out far too late the night before.
Yeah, and we just didn't allow for traffic whatsoever. Super Bowl week in Miami. We're like,
it'll be fine.
We made it.
Last one, and this is a very wide-ranging one. Depending on what you care about, what you like, what is the best stadium on the 2020 schedule?
You go first, Pete.
All right, so haven't been to San Fran, haven't been to Pittsburgh, haven't been to Detroit, I've been to the 3 divisions, I've been to Cleveland. So I only have 4 to choose from. I mean, for me, out of those 4, it's Dallas. Press box food is incredible. No matter how many times you walk in there, it still just blows your mind to look up at the ceiling and see how high it is and look at the scoreboard and look around. It feels like it was built the day before, even though it's now 10, 12 years old. Jerry World is the best. It's so modern. I love it. So out of the stadiums I've been to, which isn't a lot, Dallas takes the cake for me.
Have you been to Arizona, Pete?
No, haven't been to Arizona. I'm excited about that one because I know you guys hold that in high regard in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's my favorite one of the year this year. I love that stadium every time we go to it. You want to talk about high ceilings and the field is cool as hell. I love that place. It's a really cool spot with and it's a good atmosphere.
Arizona is awesome. That's my favorite trip to make. Jerry World's the best stadium, but the actual football game, the actual contest I'm most excited for will be the Steelers in December. I mean, if Pittsburgh's good, I've been up there for a playoff game. I've worked a playoff game before up there. And that place will be awesome. And they played Renegade and like that Go Steelers Go and all that stuff. Like Pittsburgh is a football town. That game has the highest ceiling for something you remember, I think. And maybe just because I've been to Dallas so many times and I've done Thanksgiving there a few times. You know what's remarkable? We were talking about this. I don't think I said this yet on the pod. My daughter is 4.5, turns 5 in August. I've spent more Thanksgivings in press boxes than I have with her. That's crazy.
It's going to be what, 3-2? Because we've done 3 Dallas. This will be our third Dallas.
New York at home.
There was New York.
Oh,
here.
right. Yeah. There was. Yeah.
But you know what's the flip side of that is we're home for all of the Christmas stuff and New Year's. So like, we've had this debate plenty. Thanksgiving's not the day to me that it is to others, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh. I mean, you've been, Mitch. That stadium's awesome. It's just smaller, but like the location's right on the water. Those stands get super loud. I swear they built it with like metal stands to be extra loud when everybody starts stomping and everything. I think that could be a really, really, really cool game.
I also think Cleveland could be a really cool Cleveland for a regular season game is a good atmosphere. Like it's loud. The dog pound is fun to be around. Like especially like down on the field, they like to talk STU, which is I kind of enjoy.
But it's not like ugly like you see in the Northeast. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's good fun.
Yeah. I'm with you. And Cleveland doesn't have the rep nationally. I don't look at this Ethernet cord I have, by the way. Cleveland doesn't have the rep nationally.
Can we see that again?
Yeah, hold on. I need to screenshot that.
Because that explains so much of why your internet's so bad.
3, 2, 1. All right, you're good. Put it down. That's giving me a heart attack.
That is.
Oh, what a disaster. That's JP's life summed up in one picture, by the way.
Right.
It's plugged in and it's working, I'm sure, but it's so mangled in the middle. Somehow it gets from point A to point B, but the journey in between is just insane.
And at one point in the year, he'll get into it and he'll start unraveling it a little bit. And then just get tired of it and ball it back up.
Yeah, screw it. Pete, you do it, damn it.
I think
next time we're all allowed to hang out and have a few bourbons at the Finlay household. Pete, you'll have a job to do.
I can't wait. I would love that.
I cannot believe I missed seeing you guys in person, but here we are.
I know.
Here we are.
All right. I think we've covered everything.
I believe so.
It was fun, Pete. It was a good idea, bud.
Yeah, I think we've done like 4 scheduled release pods at this point, and this one seems like the most in-depth and the most fun. I'm going to be sad when it's over, but we can end it if we want.
All right.
I had one quick shout-out I wanted to give.
Ooh.
Brian Murphy, who's one of our listeners, just had a baby, little baby girl, Ramona Blake Murphy. Congrats, man. Tough time to be adding to the family, but congrats. It's exciting.
Good job, Murphys.
Congrats. There's never a bad time to have a new baby girl. Congratulations, Brian, and your family. We're thrilled you listen, and maybe we get another listener. Get her a phone, get her to start downloading and subscribing, and
leave a review.
Maybe leave a review. All right, let's go. Pete and Mitch say goodbye. Mitch did his thing. Anything to add, Peter?
No, and that's all. I won't even try to come with something clever at the moment because I don't want to. I'll blow it.
Stay tuned. Next podcast should be Sunday night, Monday morning. Might have a pretty awesome guest. So stay tuned for that. And then it's time to check in with the rest of the division. Thinking we do that next week. Call some of our bureau chiefs in Philadelphia, Dallas, and up in the Big Apple.
One more quick thing.
Something there, Mitch?
Yeah, we don't forget to listen to the Nats Talk podcast. They had a cool guest. They got GM Mike Rizzo on the show this week, and he's talking not a ton of baseball, but talking about that Michael Jordan doc as a kid, as a guy who grew up in Chicago. He has a lot of fond memories, and he told some funny stories about the Pistons and Detroit, and I think he feels a lot like we do about that city.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that one for sure. I love Riz, and Nats Talk Pod folks do a great job. I want to single out my guy Tim Shovers, who's on that Nats Talk Pod. He does a great job with everything he does and is a very valuable person to me personally. On that note, we're going to run how about this? We're going to post our record predictions on the Instagram. Everybody put your record predictions in the comments. We will read at least a handful of them. If you make it funny, you have a much better chance of standing out.
Yeah.
So put your records in the comments, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you to Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Hope you do the same thing. Thank you for listening. We love you guys. If you made it this far, I owe you a beer.